So yes, we didn't have any roadmaps for Big Finish. There was no sitting down and going, well, at least from my point of view, there was no sitting down going, well, I want to do here, I want to do this. The only roadmaps I had was my little list of Bonnie Langford, Janet Fielding and Paul McGann. They were the three things I set out with at the beginning. Bonnie got ticked off, Paul got ticked off, and shortly before I left, Janet got ticked off, and I was like, yeah, they're the three things I wanted.
And I mean, those are the actors you obviously wanted to work with, and you certainly wanted to get them on board. And they're absolutely brilliant, let's be honest. But stylistically and artistically, what were you trying to achieve in that first 50 CDs?
The first 50? Yeah. Oh, right, because what, the other 50 don't count?
No, they do, but I want to take this step by step. I'm intrigued.
But I don't think there's a dividing line.
In that case, let's take it...
What did I want to do with Doctor Who? I wanted to make Doctor Who as I remembered and believed Doctor Who to be. Therefore, I wanted to, with the 3 Doctors we had, or the 4 Doctors we had, I wanted to make Doctor Who as varied as possible. I didn't believe that my personal opinion of Doctor Who was remotely relevant. If you're selling something to X number of people every single month, 12 of those a year on average, I wanted to make sure that 7 of those, if someone, let's take someone who subscribed, as it's not an ideal example, but let's say someone who subscribed to Big Finish subscribes to 12 Big Finishes a year. I wanted to make sure that 7 of those 12 they loved. I'd love it if they loved all 12 of them, and some people did, but it's not very likely. So I want to make sure 7 of them did, and I don't think I could have done that if I had made Doctor Who the way I love Doctor Who. I had to get different writers in every single time, so that you'd have a Doctor Who that's a bit like that, a Doctor Who's a bit like that, and a Doctor Who's a bit... And there'd be some CDs we put out that personally I would sit and go, it's just... oh, I just don't like that kind of story, I don't like that kind of writing, that's not me at all. But there's an audience for it, and it's my job as the producer of Audio Doctor Who to make sure that that kind of Doctor Who is out there once or twice a year, because there's an audience for it. And all I cared about was making sure that the majority of my audience got out of this what they wanted to get out of Doctor Who. So it isn't about what I like in Doctor Who, it's what they like in Doctor Who, and I facilitated it. There's that word again. But that's what I was doing. I was bringing... So I tried, if across, say, 12 releases, I would think 12 releases, 9 or 10 different writers per year. A couple of them would do maybe 2 a year, but generally I would try and stagger it so that there was a different writer across everything, and I'd mix and match, and if writer number 1 did a really good Peter Davison, the next time he came to me and said, I've got a great idea, to say, right, we're going to do a Sylvester McCoy now, because it keeps them on their toes, it makes them work harder, and I think it's better for the audience. And that was my philosophy, if you like, was to make Doctor Who that the audience would like, rather than Doctor Who that I would like. And if in the middle of that I did sit down and go, this is brilliant, this is absolutely the kind of Doctor Who I would like, that's a bonus.
That first year,
yeah.
I'm just trying to get a sort of sense of what it was like. Someone comes to you, they drop the ultimate franchise on your doorstep and say, right, now you make it.
Yep.
What did you do? How did you go about getting that first lot of scripts together? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Well, I started with Briggsy, because, you know, obviously we were going to start with Nick Briggs. So,
and of course the audio-visual stuff as well.
Well, yes, and I mean the whole background of Big Finish is because Nick and I and John had worked together in audio-visuals towards the end. The 3 of us had been a very tight team for the last year of audio-visuals. The last series of audio-visuals was actually about 4 years, because we weren't the fastest people in the world. And Jason was Jason wasn't part of audiovisuals at all, but he was on the peripheral. We knew him and he was around, and there was Jim Mortimer and all these people. Andy Lane was there, Nigel Fairs were there. These were all people that over the years eventually became back into part of Big Finish. But it was, the core of that was myself and Nick. And John Ainsworth sort of... I mean, John very early on with Big Finish said no, he didn't want to be involved. He then became involved later on. But he didn't want to be involved at the beginning, and that was mainly because he said to me once, he said, you and I have got such totally different ideas of what good drama is, all we'll do is fight the whole time. So he said, I'll step away from this, I'm not interested in being involved in Big Finish. But he was like, oh, I want to play, I want to play.
Pressed up to the glasses.
And I wish he had been there from the beginning, because John is a fantastic powerhouse for
Actually,
drama.
I just realised, for the purposes of those who are actually watching this for the first time, they may not know what audiovisuals were.
Audiovisuals.
Explain.
Okay, audiovisuals was us as when you're a Doctor Who fan and you do a fanzine. Well, we didn't do a fanzine. We did audio drama plays on cassette with Nick Briggs playing the Doctor. And we broke every copyright law in the world, and we just sold these, and we started off selling, I think, 30 or 40 at the very beginning. By the time we ended, we did 4 series. By the time we ended our 4 series of audio visuals, I think we were selling just under 1,000.
Wow,
which was quite something. And yeah, so that was our background. We taught ourselves, in all seriousness. We all came into it, myself, and at the very beginning it was myself and Bill Baggs, Nick Briggs, and Jim was there, I think, quite close to the beginning, and Nick Layton and all these people, and we just had a passion for radio drama, and we taught ourselves over the years of audio visuals what did and didn't work. So audio visuals, we were quite lucky with Big Finish, because audio visuals had taught us so much about what you couldn't do and what you shouldn't do and what was wrong with audio, so that by the time we did the Benny stuff, we kind of were already there. So we didn't have the learning curve that we might have had if we were complete newbies to this. We actually understood radio drama very, very well, or audio drama very well, and I'm very, very keen about exploiting that medium. I think it is the best medium in the world, and I wanted to exploit it because a lot of radio drama is actually quite bland, and it's quite sort of, oh, it's television without the pictures. Actually, audio drama is anything but television without the pictures. It is about using sonics, it's about using all the oral tricks you can possibly have, and just making soundscapes and all that stuff tell the story that normally pictures would help tell you a story in a film. Well, you don't have that joy. If somebody walks out into a sunset, well, on a film you can see. So on audio, on bad audio, someone walks out and goes, oh, what a glorious sunset that is. No, on good audio, that same person walks out and somehow the listener knows what's going on outside, because we create really good soundscapes, and we learnt all of that on audio visuals. So by the time we came to do Big Finish, we'd already got that sort of that grounding. We knew what you could and couldn't get away with, and I spent a lot of my time as a producer writing on people's scripts. My favourite phrase was, and how did the audience know this? Because someone would do something in a script and take it for granted, and there were times you go, I know how we did that, but other times you go, well, there is no way on audio you can do that without someone saying, oh look, there's a grand piano rolling down the corridor towards us, let's run, Doctor, which happens in one of the plays, and I hate